Hey, what's up, Brad?
Yeah, man, what's up? How you doing?
Good, man. Good morning for you, right?
Yeah, man. What time is it over there?
It is 6:30. So you got
Man,
your coffee, I got my
yeah,
beer.
man. Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. Give me a few more hours, bro, and I'll be on the beers or the wine. So yeah, yeah,
It's interesting because like last month I was interviewing a band in Germany, vice versa. It was like early for me,
yeah,
afternoon. They're sitting around table, all have beer steins. I'm like, it can't get any more cliche
yeah.
than that.
You're still picking the crust out of your eyes, man, trying to get started in the day. Yeah. No, good, man. Good to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you too, man. Thank you
Yeah.
again for on your Saturday morning, our 17
No
hour
worries,
time.
man. My pleasure, man. Thank you for taking an interest. It's my pleasure.
Oh, of course, dude. I hope you and the rest of the band are doing safe too right now during this
Yeah,
fucking
man.
crazy.
Yeah, it's we're actually in Australia. Like I mean it's weird all over the fucking world, man. But in Australia, we're probably in one of the better spots, So we've actually got back to normal in the last sort of few weeks. So yeah, and relatively, and regard to everyone else, we're doing all right, man. So yeah, just grateful. There's definitely some worse spots around. So yeah, and likewise, man. I hope you're doing all right over there. I think it's a bit more crazy, maybe where you're coming from. I don't know.
Kind of California it's got its waves. It's got its
Yeah,
weeks. It's got its weeks. It's like your crazy
yeah,
ex.
man. Yeah, who knows? You read the news today, man. Or these days, it's like it's fucking madness everywhere. But all you can do is just take it day by day, man, and try and put a smile on and do what you do.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
and you guys are all in Brisbane, correct?
hmm Yeah, we're based in Brisbane, so Queensland, Australia, mate. So yeah, sunshine here is pretty good. So today's a bit of a shitty rainy day, but for the most part, it's normally pretty good. Yeah.
And then, because I have a couple of friends that live in Sydney as well, and it's
Yep.
like your guys' seasons are completely flipped. Because like your
Yeah.
winter is our summer, and then our summer is you guys' winter and everything.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So you guys, middle of the year, you guys be in summer now?
Yeah, we're coming
Yeah.
in midsummer right now.
Yeah. Cool. So what kind of temperatures do you get over there?
At least about where I'm at in Southern California, you can get up to 100, normally around 90s,
Yeah.
80s.
Wow. Yeah. So it gets pretty hot there too. Yeah, it gets hot here as well. But in the winter, it's nice, especially Queensland, like Brisbane. Like it's just really nice, consistent weather. So yeah, can't complain, dude. I'm originally from New Zealand, so I relocated for a reason, and it's good.
Oh, so you're originally a Kiwi.
Yeah, I am, man. Yeah. So even in the land of Oz, I'm still a little bit exotic, man. But it's every now and then I get a bit of shit about my accent, but whatever.
But dude, how was the? Because I know like earlier, like 2019 and coming 2020, you guys had the was known as the Black Summer
Yeah.
of all the fires and whatnot. Was it affecting you guys?
No, that was typically more down south, where it gets really, really dry. So where we are, I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to call it tropical. I think technically it's subtropical. Forgive me while I just take my shirt off, man. I'm pretty sweating. Hold up. Yeah, so it's like subtropical, so it's still plenty of moisture in the air and it doesn't get as dry. But yeah, so that's more down south, but it definitely gets hit pretty hard, in the drier climates. So luckily we're okay, man. So it's all right. More likely to get a cyclone or something here.
How about COVID-19 and everything? How's that been for you guys? I know it's a world
Um,
shit storm.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy. It was like it's such a weird. When it hit, it's like I don't know what it was like for you guys. It's kind of like you don't know which way's up. It's all over the show. How you're trying to figure it out. We had in terms of the band, we had a few shows booked in, and then we cancelled those obviously. But for us, in terms of the band, it's probably been one of the better things that's happened to us. Like we had the song we just released. We had that in the pipeline that was ready to go. So we had that in the bank ready to release. And then it really just turned our attention a lot to like online, like some online content. It's, there's so much to do as an independent band, and like you neglect certain parts where you should be doing more. We were playing a lot live and probably weren't doing as much online. So for us, it was kind of good to maybe shut down the live side of it a little bit, not take the gigs, and then really put some effort into some content. And that really helped us release this song. And then we had, we started putting stuff out on YouTube, Instagram. So, I mean, in terms of the band, it's probably been one of the better things for us. And we've seen, the return on investment for that, if you want to put it like that, immediately. So, the
Oh
fans are
yeah.
starting to, I'm just sitting here talking to you. So it's definitely getting around the world, man. And it's making a little bit of a splash. So it's been really, really good for us. So yeah, all in all, I think when it's all said and done, it will probably be better off for it.
Oh, I know it's like the music industry is taking one of the largest hits.
Hmm.
Stages shutting down, venues, concerts being canceled, bands getting stuck sometimes during when they were canceled. And it sounds like you guys have pivoted the right way. Like I've noticed that independent bands have actually thrived the most during this
Yeah.
pivot to online marketing and showcasing your music online.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we were always going that way and it was always how we wanted to do it. But it was kind of like, I think, when you're trying to work a full-time job and, I run a business, so you're trying to do that whilst also, recording, writing, practicing. And then on top of that, you're going to be making your content, selling your merch. It's just so much to do. So when you just have no choice but to shut down the gigging part of it, and we don't have to rehearse as much now. So you have more time and then you can allocate those resources. And then, it's like you got to wonder if you hadn't had COVID, would you have put the attention into that kind of stuff? Maybe we would have done later on. So for us, like you say, I mean, being an independent band, we can pivot immediately and it's been really good. So yeah, all in all, it's actually been not too bad for us in terms of the music.
Well, Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm, she had even said like, "Oh, I think during this COVID stuff, a lot of bands are gonna phase out." And I'm like, I don't even think that's the case. It's like you said, now they have more time to actually allocate to Instagram, Spotify, YouTube,
Yeah.
and people are on their phones now more than ever. So now people can find you a lot easier and quicker pace.
Yeah, I think also though, like I don't know, I can only speak for myself. I know there's a lot of people. You probably know this as well, man. There's a lot of people out there who probably don't want to do the work and
True.
don't want to make the content and build the online presence and post every day and talk to your fans. And so there's a lot of work that goes into it. I mean, there's so much to do now. I mean, as an independent band, you have to be a musician. You have to be like some kind of a web developer. You have to be, a marketing person as well. So there's so much to do. And I think that, bands, I don't know, the ones that'll phase out probably weren't going to survive long. I would imagine, in 2020, COVID or not, you should be out there engaging online and putting a lot of effort into that. I saw a video really recently where Billy Corgan was basically saying like, there was a young guy asking him, what advice would you give me? And Billy Corgan was like, as for going out and playing the local venue and building the local following, he's like, I wouldn't even bother with that. I would put all of your attention online. And that really resonated with me, man, because like that's one of the, one of the biggest musicians of our generation basically saying, fuck playing live, don't do it for now, build your online following, and that's going to be where your reward is most. So like I said, I think it's probably a good thing all in all. And, hopefully other bands can learn from it and really pivot as well, because I think it's better for everyone.
And some bands are even forming during COVID, not even like each
yeah,
other.
yeah,
Using examples to each other via Dropbox, man. It's formed up a different generation.
Yeah, it is. It's such a crazy thing, man. It's like I think our experience with talking to people in the industry, whether it be labels or promoters or whatever, is like a lot of people don't really know the answer anymore. I think it really, it's such a changing industry and it's changing so fast that it's like, I don't know that people really have a concise plan anymore. You really just got to get in, get your, roll up your sleeves and start putting shit out. And that's really what our attention is going to be on. Just get stuff out all the time. Don't get me wrong. I mean, playing live, we love it. And hopefully it comes back soon. But for now, if your hands are tied, it's like, might as well,
Exactly. But how's the local music scene where you guys are at in Brisbane? Like, how's the Australian music scene? Like rock music and stuff?
Yeah. So like I said, I think where we are in Queensland, we're probably in a better spot than most. I think other states have shut down, if not completely, partially. But even now, like it's funny, we're getting offered a few gigs now. They're starting to come back, but I don't know if people are going to go out, man. I don't know. Even if you are able to go out and see a live gig, I don't know how many people are really in the going out to a bar kind of mood. You know what I mean? There's still that real, I don't want to say the word stigma, but there's still a weird vibe in the air.
Yeah.
So yeah, even if you can go out and, if it's only partial or what's it called? Like restricted capacity in those venues, maybe you'll get a few people in there, but for now, even us, we'll just ride it out for a bit longer and see how it goes. So yeah, to answer your question, we're in the best spot in the country probably for that, but still pretty slow. You know what I mean? It definitely hasn't picked up to what it was, and I don't know how long it'll take.
Now, for we've had California's got all concerts. We've been fucked hard. No shows, no concerts,
Yeah.
especially in LA.
Yeah.
LA bands are hurting the most because that's what they thrive on, is that
Yeah.
local scene. But in other states like Texas, and Nashville, Tennessee, they're doing drive-in concert series,
Yeah.
and bands are popping up and doing that. And they're having spaced out parking spaces, and then
Yeah.
also they're doing tabletop reserved shows for people to
Yeah.
come in, capacity seating and whatnot. But you're separated. Now, if you guys were offered that opportunity, would you take it?
I think we would. I think we would definitely do something like that. I think that, you know, like for us, it kind of hit good timing because we were actually in the writing phase, you know, like, you know, most bands will go through the gigging phase and then they'll go back to the writing phase. So for us, we were in the writing, releasing phase anyway. We were coming back out of it. So as those opportunities come up, I definitely think we'll be keen for it. You know, like there's definitely probably some online streaming live stuff that we could do. As for what you're specifically saying, I don't know how that works here in general. I think that because it's not as restricted, they're kind of expecting it that people will just roll in and it's all good. But like I said, man, I don't think people are there yet. I don't know. Like I know people are chomping at the bit to get live music, but whether they actually want to go out and be in public spaces and all that kind of stuff, I don't know. So, but we're definitely open to whatever, man. And it's definitely a changing world. So it's adapt or die at this point, I reckon.
Well, has your government stepped up to help at all? Like in U.S., we're working on a bill for venues and artists, you know, to some kind of relief system for musicians and the stages and places they play at. How about for you guys? Has Australia or your guys' government system said anything?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the at in depth what it actually is, but I know that, you know, the government definitely is handing out grants and a few things like that to support local artists. As for the venues themselves, I mean, I know a couple that have kind of gone under already. So, you know, it's hard. It's like it's limited capacity. It's they can't really get back to running as normal. And I don't think, like I said, you know, I don't think people are really in the mood to go out and cram a space to watch a live gig yet. So there is a little bit of that going on with the government. So yeah, hopefully it does kind of help musicians. And but I think at the end of the day, man, I think that musicians are going to be better off on the other side of it. I think they should be putting their attention into making stuff online and really, you know, building that online presence. So yeah, to answer your question, hopefully a bit of that, and also bands just being a bit proactive as well. Hopefully should come out on top after it all, you know.
Well, then you guys thrived during this time of not doing gigs, writing new music you already put out? You had that new single put out on the timeline. Is there stuff ready else to come out this year?
There is, yeah. I mean, we'd actually come out of the studio just before it all hit, so we had a couple of tunes in the bank. We obviously released The Devil You Know a few weeks ago, and we've got one more coming up in probably a few weeks, so we're going to announce that as well. So definitely more to come from us. And then, you know, like I said, we're writing, recording, we're doing some video stuff, you know, getting a bit of a video editing kind of thing going on. You know, our drummer Tony, he's a bit of a weapon with that stuff, so he's really thrived in all the video editing, which is cool. So yeah, it's good, man. Yeah, everyone kind of, you have to adapt and learn new things. So it's been good.
Oh yeah, dude. Every independent now has to have everybody's got to do something. Whether you're gonna be the
everything, man.
Yeah, do everything, man. DIY.
Yeah, DIY for sure, dude. And on top of that, you got to be writing as well. So you got to be pretty good with your time and you know what to focus on. You know, so it's it's a learning experience. But so far we're doing good, man, and plenty more to come.
Now let's talk about you guys as a band yourself. You're a 4-piece band. There's you on vocals and guitar as well. Then you have Anthony on drums, Corey on guitar, and Liam on bass. Correct?
Yeah.
And you guys started in 2015, right?
Yep. Correct. Yep.
In a garage.
In a garage, yeah, yeah. In a garage, man. We're all good. We're all good band stories start, dude.
Were you guys just cracking beers and was like, "Fuck it, let's start a band"?
Exactly. Well, I've been looking for a band for a long time. I'd always been a writer. I play guitar. I played guitar for a long time, and I knew I wanted to start something, but I couldn't find the drummer. And for a long time, I jammed with people for years and years. And then me and Tony, I was based in Brisbane, and he was down in Melbourne, another part of Australia. And we hooked up actually online, started trading demos back and forth. And immediately we were like, yeah, man, it's just that chemistry that bands talk about, you know, like when you just get in a room and you play with certain people, sometimes it clicks. I'm sure you know this, man, and sometimes it doesn't. And this one clicked really good. So, you know, by coincidence, we were both moving here. And then so, you know, after sort of hooking up online, making some demos, liking how it sounded, we got in a garage and started jamming. And immediately it was Yeah, man, it was love at first sight, or whatever cliche you want to use. And, yeah, and then off we go. So yeah, that was sort of the start of it. And we built the band around sort of us two. We got a couple of mates in on guitar and bass, and yeah, man, the rest is history. So it was cool.
Love at first jam.
Yeah, that's it, man. You know the feeling. You're a musician yourself.
Oh yeah, dude. It's
Yeah.
like, you just know it, dude. No matter what,
You
it's
know,
like,
yeah.
you can't fake the feeling when someone jams together and you're like, fuck yeah, dude, that was sick.
Yeah,
Let's do it
yeah.
again.
You can't make it. You can't force it. You just kind of, it's either there or it's not. So
Yeah.
when you find it, you got to cherish it and cultivate it. And yeah, man, it's a cool feeling. And to this day, it's still, that connection you have with another musician is just, it's everything really. I mean, I think any band you listen to, or your favorite bands, they all have that in some respect. You know what I mean? There's that chemistry is existent in somewhere in that band, and it really is what builds everything else.
And then where'd the band name come from for the Wolves? Who came up with that idea?
I don't know, man. It was me. I mean, it was kind of. I have to take blame for that. I like the word wolves. I don't know what it was. I like the way it sounded. I didn't think too much about it. And then we needed to differentiate because there's so many bands called Wolves or something of that. So yeah, For the Wolves is what it was. And I'm the kind of dude, like, I'll sit there forever and just overthink something. So I thought, look, this is cool. Let's run with it. And yeah, and there it is, man. Yeah.
No, it is a catchy name. It is unique as well because you can't forget it.
Yeah.
There's a shitload of bands with
Yeah, dude, a fucking lot. Yeah, I think there is a band called For the Wolves as well. I think I'm sure they're out there. So yeah, but it seems to get good response, man. To this day, people still comment on the name. So I must have done something right.
And then music. So music-wise, who does all the creative writing? Who does?
In our band, so typically, being sort of the song, lead guitar vocalist, most bands that are set up like that, it's usually I hate the word frontman, but it's the dude at the front that really is coming up with
singer syndrome.
Yeah, man, the frontman. I hate that term because it's not. I don't feel like that at all. I really feel a part of a collective, So I just guitar riffs and stuff and ideas, beats, riffs, melodies, and then. Once I have that laid down, I'll take it to Tony, who's a drummer, and then he'll start putting down some beats on it. And then, it's just the process of what sounds good. Like, and through each phase of adding an instrument, drums and bass, and it's just, is it still sounding good? And then we'll build it up. So for the most part, the bare bones of a song will sort of be nutted out, and then we'll bring the other guys in, on guitar and bass, and then we'll start sort of figuring out how that works. But the main foundation is sort of built off me and Tony getting in a room and jamming it out. Yeah, and then you build the band around it, and then you figure out how you're going to go play it live and how you're going to record it. And, the song changes as it goes through those scenarios as well. So it's an ever-evolving thing. And, yeah, but that's sort of how it comes about.
And how I like to describe you guys is like I was like saying it was like a modern-day heavy Bush. Like old-school Bush back in the 90s. A modern Bush with a more hard rock tone, alternative like rock, maybe a little metal in there, tone in there. You guys have an edgier side to it.
Yeah, I would agree, man. I think the 90s references comes around a lot, and it makes sense. I mean, that's a lot of our influences, like, bands like Soundgarden, Tool, Queens of the Stone Age, that kind of stuff. So that real 90s, Alice in Chains, Collective Soul, I love those bands.
Collective Soul.
Yeah, dude. They got some fucking bangers. Yeah, man. So it's like, yeah, I agree with that. I think I would agree with that 100%. And then, like injecting in the psychedelia, a little bit of the middle, a little bit of a different thing here. So, yeah, I think that's really the foundation of our sound. And I think we'll keep evolving. The next stuff we got coming is different again. So what you described is definitely the foundation of the sound, and it extrapolates from there.
And your guys' sound, like, just for the guitar and riff playing, you guys have a great, like, every song has a sick riff that is catchy. It's catchy. Yeah. You can like hear it throughout the whole song, and that's hard. That's hard for any band to come up with a catchy riff.
Yeah, it is, and it's and as a guitar player, I can only speak as a guitar player. I'm sure every musician feels this, but you really have to be able to, when you're writing, you write a whole bunch of shit, and then it's really about going back through it. You're a guitar player, like you write riffs for days. You know what I mean? You can just punch them out, and then you go back over them, and then it's about finding the ones that stand out. And again, like the chemistry thing, you don't know why, but they stand out. And it's usually the ones that are catchy, that have an energy or they have a hook. And then those should be the ones that you're building the songs off. And that's what we do. So I appreciate that, man. That's a great compliment because that's definitely the goal. And yeah, hopefully we pull it off.
Now, what would you say is your way as, because like you can have a shit day, go inside, locked in, headphones on, whatever, or blasting your speakers, and you just bump out a fucking riff. What's your process for remembering the riff? Like you record it on Pro Tools or something? Or are you going to do Ableton, or you just remember it?
Yeah, I can't remember who said it. I think it might have been Paul McCartney or someone. Someone said once, and it really resonated with me, was that you remember the riffs that are good. So, as a guitar player, I'll pick my guitar up every day and just start playing. And what comes out, sometimes it sounds like shit, sometimes it's some good stuff there. But usually if an idea is good enough and it's catchy enough, it'll just hang around. So it's not a matter of just, I quickly need to capture it now. It's usually a matter of, I pick the guitar up the next day and that riff appears again and I just keep playing it. When it's a bit more developed, then I'll put it in the computer and it goes into Logic Pro. And then I might start mapping that out. And maybe I've got another riff that I recorded a few weeks earlier and I'll piece them together. And, that's sort of when we start building the song. But the riff itself, the hook of the song, they just hang around. You know what I mean? Like you've got those riffs, sometimes they hang around for years and they don't go away. So I always take that as a sign you should be doing something with them. So for the most part, yeah, I just record bits and pieces throughout the days. But the good ones, they hang around.
It's like interesting. Another guitar player, I'm a big fan of him, Follow. He brought up an interesting kind of music theory thing behind it, is using Logic. He'll record anytime he does a riff session, he'll record it, put it on Logic, and then when he's ready to put stuff together, he matches up his riffs to form a song and then relearns it all together.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm always recording stuff on my voice memo, so there are certainly bits and pieces. Maybe I write one day and I come back a few weeks later, I'm like, oh, cool, I forgot about this. But, you were talking before about each song having that big riff and that big hook. Those I don't typically need to record down. You know what I mean? Those will stay in my head, and then I'll usually build it off that. That sort of sets the tone of the song. I don't know about you, man, but I always find every riff I write is in a different fucking tempo. So trying to match them up never works. And, taking a riff and trying to just bump it up a few BPM to get it to match the next one typically doesn't work for me, because the riff, whatever tempo I've written it at, is typically what it needs to stay at, and trying to modulate that in any way changes the tone, So, yeah, that's a headache, man. That's the challenge of being a musician, man. That's the banging your head against the wall type shit. Yeah.
Kind of dabbing into your guys' music and whatnot. So you just released a new single, Double No.
Yeah.
Music video to match it, which is awesome.
Thanks,
dude. Is that a local bar venue for you guys?
Yeah, we get hooked up.
Venue. It's
fucking venue. Sick, dude. Yeah, I mean, we had a friend of ours who was a manager at a nightclub, and it's like this old timey prohibition era.
Yeah.
So it was perfect. I mean, the lighting rig, the smoke machine. It was perfect, man. So doing a music video on a budget, we couldn't have asked for anything better. And Oliver, the man who edited it for us, videographer, he did a great job. So yeah, we're stoked with how it come out, man. It definitely matches the tone, and it's a good one.
And then previous to that, you guys have 2 EPs out. You have Karma, and then you have a self-titled.
Yeah.
And then you put out other stuff on YouTube. Like I saw you guys' cover on Jimi Hendrix, which is freaking awesome as well.
Thanks,
amazing rendition. And then I noticed, as a gear tech, I like to pay attention to what people use, and I noticed you have one big ass fucking pedal board.
Yeah, it's too big, man. It's too big.
But you have a mixture of analog pedals and digital pedals with the Boss ME80.
Yeah, at the ME50, I literally.
50, okay.
Yeah, that's an old piece of gear for me, dude. I mean, I love music gear. I love how it sounds, but I'm not really techie. So, I mean, I've stuck with that piece of gear for like the last 10 years. I mean, I want to say it's quite old. Just updated it. So I just got the newest Boss version of that. But I love the multi-effects pedal, man. They get a bad rap, but that's how I learned to play. It's having all my pedals laid out like that and just having one main unit. I love it. So yeah, that's definitely been a part of the kit for a long time. And like I said, I just upgraded, and I'm going to keep doing it because I love it.
Yeah, see myself, I have the Pod HD 500X and
Yeah,
messing
yeah,
around. It's crazy how much you can do now. You can add your preamps and your cabs in there to get that sound you want. You want to switch it over to an old 80s vintage, awesome. You want to go to a death
yeah,
metal tone right off the bat, flick of the
yeah.
switch.
Yeah, flexibility for sure. You know, I like gear that is flexible. So, you know, like there are some pedals you can't go past. Like, you know, like you mentioned, you looked at the pedal. I've got, you know, the MXR carbon copy delay on there. You know, that's just a little analog delay pedal. But I mean, trying to replicate that in any other form, I haven't been able to do it. So that's always going to stay there as just a stomp box pedal. But, you know, as for versatility and, you know, especially those units, they've got the pitch shifting pedals on them. You know, they've got the volume pedal, they've got everything. So, yeah, they're all in one, and I love it. Like I said, it's how I learned to play, and it's kind of, you know, we've looked at bigger upgrades and stuff, but I look at, you know, I just got to get way into it. I mean, reading a manual that's that fucking thick, it ain't for me, so I'll just stick with what I know, you know?
Well, dude, it's cool. Like the whole industry, the whole rock and music industry alone is changing from the analog way of doing things to digital way of changing and editing stuff. It was interview with Eddie Van Halen. He was talking about how when they were recording Van Halen 1 and tape, they would do one tape track, then a whole other tape track, and then they would layer the tape track and put that together and then learn how to play that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even fathom that. Like, you know, we're talking before about DIY bands. I mean, a big part of that now is the ability to produce and record at home. You know, like, and it's funny you say that because it's like, there's this kind of this little narrative that goes on in my head where it's like, you know, you go into a studio and you pay a lot of money and you get a producer and you get the sound and it sounds fucking awesome, right? But as a band nowadays, I mean, you just got to put stuff out. So I think you need to be self-sufficient enough to make a good enough recording that people can listen to it and it sounds good. Maybe it's not top-notch production, but at least you're getting it out. And, you know, everything we're just talking about, those home units, you know, the amp modelers, the home recording setups, they make it possible to do that. So, yeah, I mean, going in and doing everything by tape, I mean, might be a fun experience, but yeah, it's kind of, it just seems so far out now. You know what I mean? I mean, in the studio, we're not even using amps now. It's all Axe-Fx. Yeah. So even when you're in a studio, it's still digital anyway.
It's very rarely now you even see people have mics up on their cabs and like going straight into it. Most people are they're having the preamp set up to what they want to do.
Yeah, they are, man. And it's like the versatility of that nowadays. I mean, back in the day, you would have to buy all of those amps, but no, not anymore, man. So it's, yeah, it's definitely a part of, you know, the new age of music and musicianship. I'm all for, and it's definitely helps us. I mean, I don't, you know, if you had to go as a band, if you had to go and foot the bill for a studio every time to do just to do a single, it's like, it would take you so long to get anywhere these days. So, yeah, having that gear and being able to use it, I'm always, you know, my philosophy is you should just be able to use the gear enough that you get to create what you want. You know what I mean? It's like your technical ability, whether it be on the instrument or your gear, should just be enough to get what's in your head out. Yeah. Anything more than that, I don't need to know. You know what I mean? So that's me anyway. I mean, you might like to dial in and get with the, you know, start playing around with it a bit more, man. But my eyes glaze over, you know. So.
Well, how about for you guys? Do you guys pre-record everything and kind of do a little bit of mixing yourself, then send it off for someone to finally wrap it up, or do you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we talked before about putting it into Logic. I mean, as we're working on the song, we've kind of got a working demo. So, you know, as we add to it, as we change it, as the song evolves, we'll just be updating that file. So by the time we go to record, we have a pretty well set out demo. And, you know, we'll play with a few little mixing things, you know, some effects and stuff. But for the most part, it's pretty well done. And that working file is definitely the basis that we'll send, you know, to the mixing engineer or the producer.
Now, for record label wise, as an independent band, and you guys are continuing to grow and evolve and make better music and better production, up on the music videos, everything, do you guys seeing yourself staying as an independent band or trying to
it's an interesting question, man. It's I don't know, to be honest, to be quite frankly, I don't know. I think for us now, it's just about, I think even if you, as a band, even if you wanted to go get that record deal and that label, I would want to go into that I would want to go into that with a bit of leverage. I would want to go into that with your own following, you know, with your own merch sales, with your own videos, just so that, and I think labels are looking for that now anyway. So I don't know, the whole major thing, I'm not too sure about. I like the idea of always owning my music. I really don't. I mean, it's funny to think, you know, like bands right up till just recently, not many of them own their own music. So handing over copyright and stuff is something that I would find quite hard. But I always think, you know, in my mind, the vision for us, I think that would always be a band that maybe worked with an independent label. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of half and half. You know, you help us do it. We're gonna roll forward on our own. But, you know, maybe getting a bit of a hybrid where it's like you got the label representation, but you're still doing it on your own. So that's kind of how I see it. But who knows, dude? You know what I mean? Like, given the right circumstances and the right opportunity, you know, you can't say you wouldn't do it. But yeah, it's definitely, it's not an easy answer anymore. You know what I mean? And I can tell by your question, it's like you probably asked that to a lot of bands. I'd be interested to know what other people think, because I don't know the answer anymore, and it doesn't seem as simple as it used to be.
Yeah, because it's not like back in, you know, early 2000s, bands are just like, fuck yeah, we're gonna get a big deal, we're gonna sign whatever we get, and get screwed over and lose all rights to the music. But they get to tour and play music, but they don't get any money from their music pretty much.
Yeah.
So now an independent artist can blow up out of nowhere, and then a label will say, you know, Victory or Capitol Records, and then like, hey, I blew up with being independent. What are you going to do for me?
Yeah, and I like that idea. I like the idea of actually having something to bring to the table. You know, I like the idea of that. And like I said, I think most labels now, on the other side of that, they're probably looking for, you know, I can't imagine labels are looking for bands who ain't on social media, ain't doing any of that. If you're not proactive, it's just kind of how it works nowadays. But, you know, I hear a lot of people say they want to be an independent artist, an independent band, but there's a lot of fucking work, man.
Fuck yeah.
You know, like, it's a lot of work. And you have to be switched on, because you have to learn these things. You have to learn, you know, how to collect your royalties. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, a lot of bands out there, I imagine, probably aren't if they're independent, probably don't know how to collect their royalties properly, or their performance royalties and stuff. So I'm not professing to know all of it either. I mean, it's a learning curve for me, but there's a lot to know. So yeah, I think probably the biggest thing nowadays would be just financial investment. I think it takes a lot of money to get a band off the ground. I think not a lot of money, but at least a chunk of money. So maybe labels can help with that. But as for the process and figuring it out, if you're switched on, if you're working hard, maybe you can go it alone, man. Who knows?
So what are some big Australian record labels for you guys? I know Virgin Records, that's about it. What are some other large record companies out there for you guys?
Well, I mean, in Australia, I mean, our sound, it's funny, man, because, you know, releasing this song, the first few EPs, couple of EPs, you know, we just put them together. We kind of put them out. We wanted people to hear what we sounded like. You know, we wanted to get some gigs, and it really did that. But we didn't put a lot of effort into the production, getting it out there. We didn't blast it out. It was just kind of putting it out for friends and local fans. This latest song is our biggest effort in terms of production. And I mean, that's been listened to all around the world right now. So I've always imagined our sound would be suited in the US or the UK. So, you know, in Australia, you've got your majors, you've got your Sonys, but the heavy music scene here is more metalcore. You know, there's labels like Unified. I mean, they've got some huge bands. So there are a few labels. I mean, quite frankly, there's not really many on my radar in Australia. I think they're probably more overseas. You know what I mean? Just given the fact that the scene for hard rock or psych rock isn't as popular here as what the metalcore is, and we don't really fit. We're not metal, you know, like, but we're not. We're kind of somewhere in the middle, which I like, because it kind of makes it hard to put us to pigeonhole us. But you know, as for your niche, it kind of makes it hard to find that. So yeah, I think a lot of big Australian bands blew up overseas, and then said that they've become popular here because the heavy music scene is so much more popular in the US and the UK. So as for labels, I always think, you know, probably we would get more interest from overseas, I imagine, than we would locally.
So like,
which is cool.
It perfectly goes into this question then, like, as a Australian-based band, as putting your stuff online, do you guys market yourself to different countries and demographics?
Yeah,
or do you
absolutely.
still just focus on the local area?
I mean, you know, pre-COVID, our philosophy was kind of, you know, I think about a start of the year, we kind of let go of the mentality of go out, play as many fucking shows as you can, and build the following that way. I think that's twofold, right? One is that now you have the world at your fingertips, so why just focus locally? And the other, I believe, is that most people aren't, because they can pick up their phone and they can get whatever they want at any time of the day. I don't believe personally people are just going out looking for live bands. I think that they need to see that band first on their phone, and then they're going to go watch them, right? So it makes sense to put more effort into the online presence first, not only worldwide, but locally as well. So nowadays, as an independent band, I think the quickest ways you would monetize are streaming and merch sales. So if that being said, I'm happy for our music to be all over the planet and selling merch and getting streams all over the planet rather than just walking out to the backyard and trying to build the following. So it's a bit of both, but my focus has definitely shifted more to being online. And I think that playing locally is fun. It's kind of a bit of an afterthought for now, and I think we'll just see how it goes. So, yeah, I think with the world at your fingertips, why would you not focus on everywhere? I mean, regardless of the demographic or location, if they like your sound, they like it.
Exactly.
So just get to them. You know what I mean? And yeah, just get to where the people are.
And now, are the rest of the bandmates all behind you as well? Are they like,
yeah, they are. Yeah.
Let's take this worldwide, man.
Yeah, for sure. I think it is, because, you go out and play locally and it's hit and miss. Some gigs you have and it's a great time. Others, the promoters don't do too much and we don't do too much. And it's a bit of a flop of a gig. So now we're just taking the gigs that are good, and enjoying ourselves with that. But we're getting a lot more traction online. So, I mean, that's where we're putting our focus. It's like, yeah.
And I do think it's at least in my area and then other parts in United States, like in Nashville or Los Angeles, where there's a big music demographic for bands that play at a different night, local venues, small venues, whatever. Main shows coming through, fucking Steel Panthers coming through, and you can find these new openers. Oh, who's this opening band? I've never heard of them. Then you can find that organic way of a band. But I think that is COVID kind of dissolved that completely. Yeah. To find that organic randomness.
Yeah, I had this interesting thought the other day, man. Like bands, talk about opening bands, right? The idea being that you go and play for a bigger band who's similar to your genre, and you get yourself in front of people who will likely enjoy your music, right? That's the theory.
Yeah.
Nowadays, make a video, put it on the bigger band's channel, right? Run it as a YouTube promo in front of there. It's doing the same thing, right? It's the people are there to see the band, the bigger band, whoever they are. You pop up. Who are these guys? I like these guys. So it's interesting, man, because I even think that theory itself probably lends itself better online nowadays. Obviously, there's some live music purists who want to see a band live, and I'm probably one of them as well. But again, you can still, I think, have the same effect and maybe a bigger reach just if you're a bit more of a digital marketing whiz and you're on your content and stuff like that. So I don't know what the answer is, man. We're learning as we go, but it's sort of a thought I had recently. I wonder if it's a similar kind of approach anyway.
Yeah. We're all taking it week by week and seeing what happens and what the music industry can do to bounce back or even do anything wise. Yeah. And just trying to keep up with it and change pace and pivot.
Yeah, adapt. You have to adapt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flexibility.
So what are your guys' rest of your plans for this year? Yeah, are you going to be? Is there a secret name you can drop up for this new single you guys are going to drop?
Yeah, man. Well, why not? Well, I don't mind at all. We'll do an exclusive or whatever. Yeah. So the next song is called Parable, and it recorded with the same producer as The Devil You Know. So in terms of having some giant fucking balls, man, and like some power behind it, this next one definitely as well. So I'm really excited for this next one. Probably we're going to start making some announcements in the next few weeks. So, that'll hold us over till September, October. We try and get another one out before the end of the year. Just the singles approach, just bang them out. And in the meantime, we're writing in the background. So working hard, writing, creating, and working on some really funky new shit, some progressive, effecty kind of stuff. But yeah, man. So the next one's loaded up and ready to go, and I'm really excited. I mean, this one's The Devil You Know's had a great response, and I'm really excited to follow it up. You know, while people are paying attention to us and really discovering us, it'd be cool to just kind of be like, hey, you like that? Also, here's this one. You know, so it'll be good.
How about a label like putting out an actual full album? Wise, is that on the pipeline?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I mean, again, you know, the overall theme of this conversation has been how different it is nowadays and trying to adapt and change. And I think that putting singles out is quite an effective way of doing it for now. But, you know, we're a bit of a progressive band. So we want to make, you know, when you listen to an album, you got those bangers, you know, there's 2 or 3 bangers. And then you've got the ones down the back end of the album that are fucking 6 minutes long and have the interludes and all that crazy stuff. And we love that. So as for an album, we would love to do that one day. But look, who knows, man? I mean, it might just be a matter of just releasing, you know, little collections of music, maybe 4 or 5 songs, maybe EPs and stuff. So an album would be great, but I don't know that it's the best way to do it right now for a band at our stage. So definitely on the cards, but as for the near future, I don't know, you know, so we'll just see how it goes.
I have a feeling it's going to come up sooner than you think. And
Yeah, you
just
reckon? Yeah.
the EPs, the Karma EP was amazing, and the self-title was amazing. Well, The Devil You Know is just blowing up with views on YouTube with the music video, and then streams as well on Spotify.
Yeah, you're right.
So it may be closer than you guys think. You guys be like, oh shit, this is getting a great response. That motivation factor is going to kick in to pump out an album. But I agree, singles are a new wave right now of keeping fans like, oh shit, here we go, here's another new song.
Yeah, but you know, you can have, you know, you can have, if you work hard enough and you plan ahead, you can have those singles loaded up, ready to go, and then you can also put out, you know, an EP or an album as well. So I mean, we're working right now on a lot of really different stuff, and I think you know, an album or a collection of songs would really lend itself to kind of, you know, overarching themes and, you know, cool little interludes between songs and all that cool shit that, you know, you'd hear on a Pink Floyd album or something like that. So as for the album format, we're definitely all about it. And I think you're right, man. I mean, we probably will get one out soon enough. Probably not this year. But yeah, we've got plenty in the bank to kind of just keep dropping in the meantime. So it's all good. At least you're not going radio silent. I think that's the key. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to, it's all the time, man. The hustle is fucking real.
Oh, I think it's even bigger now for a band to get their song on a Spotify playlist or an Apple playlist than over local radio play. Like, that's
100%, dude. I mean, leading up to the release of this song, we talked to a lot of promotion companies. We talked to a lot of people. I wasn't really liking the strategy and the theory that I got back. It just didn't really resonate with me. It was a lot of radio promo. And I just thought, what the fuck for? Like, I mean, we got some play on a major radio station here in Australia, Triple M, which was awesome. So that was great. But like you say, our goal was really the Spotify playlist, and that's what happened. I mean, it got picked up for a couple of big playlists in the UK. So again, that's where our sound seems to be resonating, and 100%. I mean, I put the release down as a success now based on the fact we got on a big playlist. It's really how people discover you. It's really how you get traction. So 100% agree, man.
I mean, I found you guys from a YouTube recommendation. I'm like, oh, wow. It was just from your music video popping up. Holy crap, these guys are really good. Let me go look them up. And
cheers, man.
You guys are great. And I hope I know you guys will get more spotlight. And I'll continue to promote as well. Because
thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
And I like to diversify and find bands like this that, like, hey, this sound is awesome. You guys need to check them out.
Yeah, well, you know, nowadays the challenge, you know, we talked before about having all the tools at your disposal. Everyone's a producer now. You know, everyone's a musician. You know, everyone's everything now. So it's like the challenge now is really standing out. So it's you know, getting above the noise. So, you know, having conversations with you, man, and reaching out and talking to people like you is amazing for us. So I really appreciate the support, dude. And you know, keep an eye on us because, like I said, the next one that's coming up's a fucking banger too. So yeah, it'd be good.
We'll do. Now we get you on some festivals out here.
Yeah, bro.
There's a huge one called Aftershock out there too.
Name rings a bell, man. I'm not too familiar with it myself, but yeah, the name rings a bell. Was it in Australia?
I think so. I think it's in Melbourne actually. There's a big rock festival out there. I thought it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I have heard of it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So I don't know if festivals are a big thing for in Australia, at least in America side and UK. There's freaking rock festivals galore all year.
Yeah, again, man, I think the festivals are here, but as for the heavy music scene, those festivals are happening in Europe and the US. So it makes sense that all of the traction we're getting is in those places. I mean, I would love to come over and play those festivals. And I think, for us to kind of do tours like that overseas, building the traction overseas is fucking great. And I'm stoked for it. So definitely, man. And if we're coming to your neck of the woods, dude, we're definitely hooking up for a beer.
Fucking A, man. So, dude, I want to finish off with a fun question. We're both guitar players. What's your favorite in your arsenal? I saw you had a D. You had a D flying E with Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, dude, I got that baby right there. Yeah, and what's my favorite guitar in my arsenal?
Yeah.
It would be the V, dude. It would be the Dean V. It's just a badass instrument. It sounds awesome. But yeah, I got a Fender Jazzmaster. I got a Ibanez hollow body you can see back there. So, I love all different guitars for different reasons. But my go-to weapon, you know what I mean? Like if I'm on an island and I get to take one, it's definitely the V, man. I mean, not only does it play good, but it just looks fucking badass, dude. So.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Dude, thank you again for your time. Saturday.
No worries, dude.
And for everybody else, thank you for watching as well. Take a look at their music, their newest single. W Know, it's playing with their music video. I have it bumped already, but I'll continue to keep bumping it. And I'll have this edited with their MySpace page, if they still have it, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube page with their new single as well. So you can find their music and all the history and the previous EPs that I talked about. They're all great. Obviously, you can hear the difference as they progress to this new single, but they're all still fucking bangers.
Hey, thank you so much, man, and thank you to everyone for watching. And yeah, man, plenty more from us, and I'm sure we'll talk more again soon, dude. This has been great, so thank you for reaching out.
Dude, thank you, man. And
no worries, brother.
Guys, I hope you guys all stay safe. Keep making fucking beast music, and look forward to dude. I have friends in Melbourne, so maybe I'll be over there across.
Fuck yeah, man!
All these planes are done. And freaking, we can catch a show.
We'll hook up after this, man. We'll get the newest song, man. We'll get it to you for an early listen, bro. I'd love to know what you think. So, be good.
Oh, absolutely. Then I will drop a first. You know what? Then I will drop a first review exclusive for this.
Fuck yeah, man. Let's do it, dude. Let's do it.
Dude, all right.
Cheers, brother.
You heard it here first. I'll have the first exclusive review for their single for you guys to listen to, and then hear my review on it.
Hey, thank you so much, man. I fucking love it.
Thank you, brother. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and hope you guys continue to stay safe.
You too, brother. Enjoy that beer.
Yes, sir.
Peace, man.
Cheers, man.